Drink, man, please. I'm thirsty. Drink, man, please. There has to be more Hennessy in the back. Oh, that's good. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hall of the Mountain King. I am the Mountain King, your host. Today, we're going to continue our multi-part adventure on how to fix Dark and Darker, system by system, piece by piece, and today we're going to do a rework for the Rogue. From brand new, never-before-seen systems to new abilities, perks, and passives. There's a whole lot to talk about. If you want to go straight to the new stuff, I've left a chapter for you below, but if you want to know what my method is and why I think we should make these changes, grab yourselves a cold Dwarven brew, and let's get to the show. So like I said, we're going to be talking about the Rogue today. This video is going to be a little bit shorter than my last rework video because I already talked about my whole methodology for these class reworks in the last video about the Wizard. So if you want a full description, go look over there. But in short, what we're going to do is give every class their own little special thing that sets them apart. Since I began this series, I've been making a habit of poking around in YouTube live streams, in comment sections, and in Twitch streams to try to get a hold of people who main certain classes or focus the identity or their presence in the Dark and Darker community around a particular class to get their idea for what they would like to see in reworks of those particular classes. In the case of the Rogue, I am very fortunate to have gotten the help from Guild Leader on YouTube and Twitch, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and also Lomo, Dark and Darker, at Lomo1012 on YouTube. May their beards grow ever longer. Thank you guys for giving me your time and your opinions, and I hope you really like what I include in this video today. This one's for you. That's called symbiosis. Community make community stronger. What I've learned from these two gentlemen, from my own experiences, and from other sentiment throughout the community as well, is that Rogue is a good duelist. He's good one-on-one. The Rogue is sneaky, the Rogue is fast. But when it comes to team fights, or arena for that matter, he becomes more of a speed bump than an actual threat. He can only wear light armor, he has one of the lowest base health pools in the game, and he really lacks for damage. And it kind of leaves you feeling that if you're not playing some kind of mosquito build with a hand crossbow, you're just wasting your time and not playing right. And feeling forced to have a specific build just because that's the only viable one isn't a good feeling to have. And it's not one that any class should have. Now, the idea of the Rogue tends to exist in about 3 different flavors. There's the Sneaky Thief, there's the Deadly Assassin, and there's the Swashbuckling Pirate. So right now we have the tools for 2 of those builds with the Sneaky Thief with stealth and pickpocketing, and we have ambush and poison weapons for the Deadly Assassin. As far as the Swashbuckling Pirate goes, we have kind of adapted by using the tank rogue build that was so popular for a little bit, but it's not really an adequate exploration of that theme. And that's kind of the idea of this rework, which is to give Rogue a way to embrace either the sneaky side or to have that fancy footwork, that pugilism, that brawler type of fight, a sword dancer, to be durable in combat in his own way. To do that, I've created 2 lightweight original systems that act as passives that the devs can implement without having to completely overhaul the game. If you like this video and you want to have some of these changes implemented, share your voice. Share this video in the Dark and Darker Discord, share it with your friends, tell people about what we want to do and make this game better, make it more fun for everybody. My ultimate goal is to get these videos in front of the devs, in front of SDF, and if people like them, I want him to be able to put them in the game just to make it more fun for all of us. And with that, everybody, thank you for waiting. We're going to get into the first new system, the Guile System. So, I don't know the definition of Guile, I just know it like... Can you Google it real quick, please? Yes. So what the Guile System is, it's going to be a new passive that every rogue has, and only the rogues have. And what it is it's a way for you to choose how you're going to engage in combat, whether by being sneaky or by being a more in-your-face brawler type. And because the rogue is about pressing the advantage, I've tied this passive ability in with all of his active abilities. So whenever you use an ability on the rogue, such as hide, or cutthroat, or tumbling, or smoke bomb, or caltrops, you'll activate Guile. What happens is, when you use an active ability, you get the Guile buff for 1 second, which gives you an opportunity to decide how you're going to engage this fight. Are you going to go in for the sneaky assassination, or are you going to go fight him face to face? When Guile wears off, what happens afterward is you start to get stacks of another buff based off of how fast you're moving. If you decide to go a stealthy route after Guile wears off, you'll start getting stacks of another buff called Coil, which you gain every second that you're crouched or standing still. And the buff will continue to stack until you make your first attack or until 6 seconds wears off. And to really lean into that feeling of coiling up for an ambush, every stack of Coil that you get increases your movement speed by a small percent, increases the damage on your next attack by a smaller percent, and with every stack, slowly makes you more transparent until you're camouflaged against the environment around you. If instead of ambushes you want to be more in your face and more of a blade dancer or that confident swashbuckler build, the other buff that you can get is called Flurry. Where Coil is built by crouching or staying still, Flurry is built by running or jumping or any other kind of movement. To give you a chance in these one-on-one fights, every stack of Flurry will give you a small percentage of physical damage resistance and a bonus toward how much deflection you gain per hit. You might be asking, well, what is deflection? Well, we'll get into that in just a second. Hang on. And finally, to round out the Guile system, I would just change a couple of active abilities to automatically choose a particular stance. So for Hide, that would automatically select Coil, and for Tumble, that would automatically start gaining you stacks of Flurry. This leads us to the other system that I made for this video, Deflection, which is Rogue's answer to not having heavy armor and hopefully what will earn him a place in the team fight. I'd apply this system to every class, but I'm including it in this video because I think it benefits the Rogue and possibly the Monk the most whenever that class comes out. The idea behind the system is that it's a way for people to gain physical resistance through finesse in combat. Deflection is a passive system just like Guile, and it gives you a stacking buff of deflection every time you make a melee attack under specific conditions. Deflection is supposed to be about protecting yourself with agility and footwork, and because of that, the only way to gain stacks of deflection is to either use a single one-handed weapon or a two-handed weapon. The only exceptions would be specific passives for the Rogue, or if you're a Slayer fighter. Fighter update will be coming soon. And so the way to implement deflection is to give every weapon its own deflection score similar to its impact power, where smaller weapons have a lower amount and bigger weapons have a bigger amount. The idea being that every time you land a melee hit with your weapon, you gain stacks of deflection equal to the amount of deflection power that your weapon has. And what it does is every stack of deflection gives you more and more damage reduction on the next hit that you take, and resets after you take a hit. And so what this will do is give the Rogue with high agility, dexterity, and fast weapons a way to survive head-on fights. Think of it like being a fencer and having a sword in one hand and the other hand empty so that you can have the balance to move around and riposte and strike back at your enemy. Or you can think about the blade of a master swordsman sweeping weapons aside as he carves through them. And so hopefully you think that the Guile system and Deflection system would be good additions to Dark and Darker and would give the Rogue more identity and make combat a little bit better than left-clicking and W-keying. If you like the ideas, let me know. Give me a comment, give me your critiques, tell me what you think or what you would want to do differently, and I'd love to have a discussion with you in the comments. Thanks for watching to the end. Here's your Dwarven Wisdom. We're getting pinched on both sides, guys. So on one end, the game is losing players. People are nervous about Wipe 7. The stuff about the water map looks decent enough, but we don't know if it'll be good enough to bring people back and actually keep the game afloat on its own merit. And then on the other end, Nexon needs more money. There are legal questions, and we don't know how this is going to go. So it doesn't sound very promising. And it might look like either way, things might go terribly wrong, and we might lose Dark and Darker forever. But there's a chance that we don't lose it, and there's a chance that we can keep playing this game for a long time to come. So I think if you're on board with keeping this game alive like I am, because I am, I care about making this game better, I care about it becoming hugely famous again, share this video, let me know what you think. And so that gives us an opportunity to really reflect on what it means when we say hold the line. Games don't just survive. They require good management, absolutely, but they require a community. And that community is you. It's me. It's anyone talking about this video or pushing to get this game better, who's fighting for them in court, who's still streaming this game when most of the big streamers have moved on, when people have taken Dark and Darker out of their names on YouTube or Twitch. It's really outside of law in Korea and outside of money in Iron Mace, it's people like you and me that are going to keep this game actually alive. And I want to say thank you for being a part of that with me. Lines don't just get held. They need people to hold them. And that's us. As always, thanks for stopping by. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought. Like, share, consider subscribing, and we'll see you guys next time. Good luck out there in the dungeons. Good luck in the dark. I am the Mountain King, signing off.
I just want to let you know that this is also very therapeutic for me.
Is it? Well, I'm happy to help. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hall of the Mountain King. I am the Mountain King, your host. Today we're going to be talking...